this is Angela McFarlane and you're stamping with AMAC. This is project number 6 and it's the Scrappy strip technique that I will show you. So we will start off with our A4 cut in half card base. This is using very vanilla thick cardstock, and I will fold that in half. I have pre-scored it because it's extra thick. And then we have 2 layers and they are 10 centimeters wide by 14.3 long. This second layer is bigger on purpose and I will show you why soon. So this first layer will get attached to the base of your card. Using an adhesive of your choice. And that will have a very vanilla border around it. And this second layer is what we'll be sticking all of our strips onto. I'll just set that aside for the minute. So you need a selection of designer series paper, and I recommend, if we want to go vertically, that we keep them at the 15 centimeter or 6-inch lengths. So we'll get our cutter, and you can use some scraps if you've got scraps that are long enough, and I will pop them in the cutter and intentionally put them on a diagonal and just cut a heap of strips. So this has the opposite side, which I would also like to use. So if you want to layer them, I tend to layer them alternating the points. So this one I will cut, actually cut that on an angle like that. Then I can flip them over, and you can do them all different widths as well. It adds more character if they are different sizes. So depending on how wide your strips are as to how many that you will need. So if you sit your card there, you can see that that is probably enough. We will have more than we need. Okay, when you've got your strips that you're happy with, I will set them out as to how I want them on my card. So I would always start with a straight edge, so we've got something to trim back from later on. So I would line that up, and I will, if it doesn't line up the top, I will go further than the top of the card there, but I will line it up with the edge of the card going this way. I would suggest that you sort of arrange your strips first so you can see what pattern you want, and then see what works best. And I do alternate, like I said before, I put a wide end then a thin end up the top. I will just keep going until, so I think I'll swap these out. I'll have the darker one in the center. You'll just see what will work best for you as you go along. I'll go that way and then that way. When you're happy with how you're going to lay them out. Just slide them over to the side and then start using your liquid glue to attach them. I won't put my glue all the way to the top because I will have that poking out over the top of the card. So I will slide that over to the edge because I do want a straight edge to work with later on. So for the second one, I won't go right to the ends so it doesn't ooze out everywhere. When I layer this on, I want to leave a small gap in between just to add a little bit of extra character and a little bit of contrast. I love using the liquid glue for this as well because it just gives me that wiggle room. And I can slide it and get it right into position where I want it to go. So once again, I'm just leaving my little gap in between, and it doesn't matter if they're not perfectly spaced, it will still be effective. And I have found that it definitely works better if you alternate having the thick and then a thin end up the top. They seem to fill the card better. Then my lucky last. My strip could have been a little bit wider there, but never mind. Okay, now that I'm happy with that, wipe up a little bit of extra glue. This is what you want to end up with. So we have a straight edge along there, and then at the back you can see we've got that extra little bits poking out there. So what we want to do is get our trimmer out, and I will cut this down to smaller than it is. First of all, I will just trim off the excess. And then I want that, because this one here is 14.3 centimeters. I want it half a centimeter smaller. So I want this edge to be 13.8. So now I can line that up at 13.8, and that will give me a nice straight line. And this base is 10 centimeters wide, so I want this at 9.5 centimeters, so I've got that nice border. So now I'll flip this over and I'll go to 9.5 centimeters and line it up and trim that off. So that's also snipped off that little edge that was poking out. Now you can see why I wanted to start off with one straight edge. It just gave me a marker to be able to position the rest of my cutting around. So it's up to you if you want to wrap your ribbon around both pieces. In this case I did, and in this case I will just attach my ribbon around the Scrappy strip. mark, and I'll just see where I want to place my greeting to make sure my ribbon's not too high. I find the best way to attach the ribbons is to use double-sided tape. Use the tear and tape because it just gives that extra little bit of hold. I'll peel these bits off. And then I will position my ribbon. I'll hold it on at the front of the card and I'll just fold it over to stick it to the double-sided tape. I'm happy that that's straight. And then I can attach that to the back, to the front layer rather, of my card. And now we've got that nice Night of Navy border around the edges as well. So it's simple as that. And then we can attach our labels, and these labels were cut from the Tasteful Labels dies, which are our Stampin' Up dies. I've used one for the Night of Navy to create the contrast. I will attach that roughly in the middle of the label, so the ribbon is running in the middle of the label. And then I will stamp my greeting and attach my little embellishment, and this embellishment was cut out of the boho suite, the boho medley. So I just use a little bit of liquid glue to attach that. I'll stick that down first. And then for my greeting, I've used the peony greeting, which is the your sweet friendship refreshes the soul. I'll stamp that on my pre-cut label. This label was also from the Tasteful Labels dies. And then I'll pop the greeting up on a couple of dimensionals. And I'll slide that under, attach that, and just pop one of my gems, the Elegant Faceted Gems, on top. And there we have the Scrappy strip card. I hope you've enjoyed that. Stay tuned for the next project. Thanks for watching.